watching the Thought Horse Car Report. I'm James, and it seems like hybrid and electric cars are taking the world by storm. And we've come down to Idaho to find out if that's true. And we've learned that there's a car enthusiast staying in this house. Come on, let's go take a look. Yes, it's open. Yes. What do you think?
This is an invasion.
You heard it here first. That's
I'm calling the police.
They can't help us now.
You're watching Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James, and this is the absolutely gorgeous Polestar 1. And in the spirit of hybrid electrics with a performance twist, we're very happy to announce that we're teaming up with Omaze to give away a Karma Revero GT. We're going to talk about it a little bit more at the end of the video, but all you need to know right now is that taxes and shipping are included, and your donations, win or lose, benefit an excellent cause. Go to amaze.com/throttle and enter for your chance to win.
Alright, now what do we have here? Born out of a concept from 2013, this is the flagship hybrid electric performance car from the now independent company Polestar, which shares a parent company with Volvo, hence the Volvo styling cues. But that's where the similarities end, because this perfectly styled GT Coupe has a very interesting drivetrain, which we will explain in a second. But the important thing is that it has an electric-only range of 112 kilometers, and a hybrid range of 870 kilometers. That's 540 miles for the Americans. And most importantly, the Polestar 1 puts out a combined 619 horsepower and 738 pound-feet of torque.
And it'll run you $155,000 US. That's a little under 200 grand Canadian. Quite a lot for a car with almost no trunk space and 4 cylinders. So we want to find out what the Polestar 1 has to offer. Polestar 1. What a good looking car. You're welcome, rest of the world, looking at this.
Hey! When the electric motors kick in the rear, you can actually feel the rear start to move a little bit. It's fun. There's quite a lot of different driving modes, and what they do is they adjust where the power is coming from that goes to the wheels. So you can drive it in pure electric rear-wheel drive mode, or you can put it in a custom mode, and that you can adjust your steering individually, how you want the regen to work and all that stuff. But there is a power mode.
In power mode, it uses everything it can, which, by the way, is a lot of things. This car is turbocharged, and supercharged, and electrically charged. It's like everyone at the factory said, what should we do to this? And everyone went, yes.
The Polestar 1 has it all. Literally. It starts at the front with a tuned version of Volvo's 2-liter 4-cylinder, which is supercharged and turbocharged, which makes 326 horsepower and 384 pound-feet of torque. And that engine is attached to a starter alternator, which adds an extra 71 horsepower and 119 pound-feet of torque. And then there are 2 independent electric motors attached to the rear wheels, adding another 232 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. So it's certainly not down on thrust.
The 0 to 60 in this is 4.2 seconds. That's not that quick. And if you compare it to things in the price range, it pales in comparison. There's a lot of around 3-second 0 to 60 cars in this price range, but you get this for different reasons. And when you plant your foot, you can feel the electric torque coming in, and then a moment later, all the other stuff coming in. It's kind of like it asks for reinforcements.
You know what? Oh, there goes the rear a little bit. It's a quick car. It's not slow. You know, wow. Yeah, see, 700 pound-feet of torque is, yeah, you feel it.
But given that it's supercharged and turbocharged and electrically charged, how does it sound? Well, when the engine comes in, it sounds a bit like a 4-cylinder. And when the engine's not coming in, it sounds really cool. It sounds like a little EV putting around town. But sound is not the thing that I'm excited about in this car, because I personally don't get on with Volvo's steering. And the Polestar has an entirely different steering rack from the same company, but it's a different rack, and it feels wonderful. And the way it turns in, it defies physics. And she's a heavy girl.
And heavy though it may be, In fact, it's about the same weight as a Porsche Taycan, over 5,000 pounds. The reason that it handles so well is because even though it looks like it started as a Volvo, it's been sliced and diced and reworked more than Kylie Jenner. Pretty much everything that you see is carbon fiber. In fact, the whole chassis of the car is carbon fiber, other than the floor pan and the front and rear bumper structures. In fact, the car would have weighed about 500 pounds more if we didn't have all the carbon fiber. But it's not just the weight savings that we want the carbon fiber for, it's the design. Because aluminum and steel can be bonded to a corner radius of about 5 millimeters at the most. Carbon fiber can be bonded to 2.1 millimeters, which means that you can create these really lovely and very sharp lines.
But more importantly for me is the way that weight is distributed, because thanks to the carbon shell on top, like a Tesla, this has a low center of gravity. Which means you get to take these turns like a race car.
Since there is a battery right here in the transmission tunnel, and since there's a battery in the trunk, you can see actually where it all plugs into back there. This has a very good weight distribution. In fact, it's biased to the rear in terms of weight distribution. And that does affect the handling in a good way. This is on Öhlins dampers. Öhlins has been kind of mixed with Volvo and Polestar for a while in the racing world, and Polestar didn't spare any expense. Which means that this has adjustable Öhlins dampers. You actually physically adjust them like a race car. You go under the hood or in the rear on the strut towers and physically click it to adjust the compression and rebound. Right now we have these set in a fairly soft setting, which is honestly good for roads like this. But the way that it's mixing with the balance of where the weight is in this car means that this car handles very, very well. Turn-in is excellent. I can feel the rear end start to lift and move just a little bit if you're too aggressive on corner entry. And there's feedback coming through the steering wheel. It's not amazing, but it's better than Volvos that I've driven. It's better than a lot of cars that I've driven.
But most importantly for me is the ride. And the way this is set up right now, on these roads, which are not that far from Toronto roads, thanks to New England and New York and horrible winters, is really good. And I know Thomas complains about Volvo seats because he's got a fat ass, but I fit into these perfectly and they're bolstered just right. I'm being gripped perfectly on these corners.
They spent some time tuning the chassis of this car because even though it weighs a lot, you don't feel the mass in the middle of a corner. Even small adjustments that you do to the steering wheel don't really cause the car to buck and move and dive. The dampers are stiff enough, the springs are stiff enough that it can control the mass, unlike a Tesla. I found the Model 3, for example, to not have stiff enough suspension. It has a fine ride, but this has a good ride too. And it can control its mass. That's what happens when you just spend money on a good damper. There's no escaping the fact that this costs almost $100,000 more than a Tesla Model 3. All right, I'm gonna go talk to James about the best thing about this car, the styling.
Oh,
Well,
heavy door.
it's a heavy car.
It is, doesn't drive like it though.
No, it doesn't. It's well, it's because of the design. It doesn't look or feel 5,000 pounds.
No, it hides its weight well. It's like
Yeah.
the car version of Spanx, which I've never worn, and I'm definitely not wearing now. But it looks stunning.
No, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfectly proportioned car.
Yeah, it looked fantastic in this white color, which is called Snow.
Snow.
Very imaginative. The dark blue
Yes.
is Midnight. The black is Space. If someone's just looked around, and they're like, yeah. You can pay extra for it to be in matte. Same with all the colors. Like
Yeah.
5,000 US.
5,000 US,
7,500 Canadian for us.
I like this logo very, very much.
I wish it wasn't body color. I
What?
prefer-
No. It's cool because its body color matches. It's sleek and understated and cool. And what's the words they use? They got lots of minimalistic.
Yeah,
yes?
that's what they're going for.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
still looks pretty Volvo though. Headlights, Volvo. Taillights,
yes.
Volvo.
Yeah.
What about these wheels?
I don't like them.
You don't like them?
I don't like 'em.
The diamond cut Camry look?
I don't like them.
You know what though? As a package with the car, I think they work really well.
Okay, fine.
And the Akabono grapes, Blake,
The Akabono grapes.
the Blake calipers,
The grapes.
The grapes.
That is the best outtake of the day. I'm leaving that in the video.
brakes, the yellow brakes
Yes.
look great.
Okay.
However, I normally associate yellow brake calipers with carbon ceramics, right?
Is that a thing?
Jags, Porsches, Lambos, the Stelvio Quadrifoglio.
Okay.
So
I
it's
don't
a
know.
bit
I don't know.
cheeky
If
'cause
is
they're
that
not.
true? Is that true? I don't know.
They're not carbon ceramics. So
No,
it's-
they're not.
It feels cheeky, but it looks so good.
They're
I don't
they're
care.
touchy, these brakes, I found. Did you
Yeah.
find that?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh wait, sorry, one thing.
Okay.
Frameless wing mirrors.
Oh yeah, they're so cool.
They look great, right?
Yes.
I'm used to a rear view mirror that has frameless, which this has, but these are really awesome.
Good design.
Okay, to the back.
Here we go.
It's a Volvo.
Really good looking.
It looks great.
I love these taillights.
Yeah, the light is sick inside, but otherwise it's pretty Volvo looking.
pop-up
Pop-up spoiler is amazing.
Yeah.
Also, because it's a plug-in hybrid,
Yes.
we have a fuel cap and a
Oh,
plug-in
yeah.
cap.
All
So
right,
we
ready?
don't need to fight anymore, which we do.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, open.
This one's locked.
What's up? I win.
I'm protected.
Okay.
And a bit of carbon fiber down
Yeah.
here, and definitely not some fake exhaust tips.
Definitely not.
Definitely
These are
not.
100% real. Let's look at the interior. All right. Let's get the things that we don't like out of the way.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that gauge cluster leaves much to be desired.
I agree with you.
I think it's just a bit simple, especially on a $155,000 car.
Oh, well, that's not my biggest issue. My biggest issue is that it's the same as Volvo's. But B, it's hard to see when the sun hits it.
Yeah, there's glare.
It's not that bright. Right?
Even though it's quite recessed,
Yeah, it's
quite a lot of glare hitting it.
it's okay.
This we're fine with.
Yeah, it's fine. Once you get used to it and you understand its
Yeah.
layout, it's good.
It's
Steering
still
wheel,
though the CarPlay looks small on it because it takes up half the screen.
That's true. Yes,
Right, there are other cars now.
it's bigger.
I know the portrait thing is hurting them because of the native CarPlay
I know. Yes.
size.
Yes. Steering wheel.
They didn't want to change that because it cost more money for them.
Yeah, basically. This is a nice steering wheel. And it's
I like it. I
Polestar.
never had a
It's
problem
good.
with it.
I don't like it. I don't mind it at all, but I think that maybe it could have been a little bit different.
My only gripe about the steering wheel is the paddle shifters. Right, this is the Polestar 1. And
I
the
know.
paddle shifters feel, nah.
Nah, they're okay. They're okay.
Other than that, I'm fine with the wheel. Carbon fiber everywhere, everything is real.
Yes,
It's
okay,
all-
so the rest of the interior is nice.
Oh yeah, we're back onto the good stuff
The
now.
good stuff now, yeah.
It's the best of Volvo. We've got the Bowers and Wilkins,
Yes.
the yellow seat
Oh,
belts
the
from
other
the
shoes are so
Polestar.
cool.
I
Yeah.
love yellow seat belts.
Absolutely.
Seats are incredibly comfortable.
Yes. This is real carbon fiber, not a single bit of this is fake. And what I appreciate more than anything, and this is what you expect in a near $200,000 car, is that absolutely every single thing is trimmed in leather.
That's fair.
Everything.
Yeah.
Like if you look at it down the door, look all the way down to the bottom. Stitching all the way to the bottom. We've got these are stitched fully and completely.
Yeah.
We got this cool little spar that sticks out up here.
Yeah,
and
this is like a floating bar.
yeah, and there's a little Polestar logo on top that
So it reflects.
it reflects on the window. You
Yeah.
only see it in the dark.
No, this panoramic roof is really, really nice.
beautiful.
Is it a moon roof? I guess if it doesn't move, it's a moon roof.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it okay? Interesting
Yeah, which
distinction.
is
We got
weird
this-
because the moon moves a lot.
Very good point, James Engelsman. This is a crystal shifter, which is
I think
very
it's better looking than BMWs.
nice. Ooh, you're right.
Yeah, it's less
Absolutely.
chintzy.
Yes. And we have
However, we do have the old famous gypsy
the
ring.
gypsy ring
from
to
the
adjust
S60.
the drive modes.
Yeah.
And what did I do on the fly here while we were driving?
Oh yeah, instead of adjusting the drive mode, Thomas did the start engine stop button.
Switch the car off.
Yeah.
Didn't actually turn off. Thankfully, obviously, it's smarter than that. But yeah, it's anyway.
This is a weird button because to turn the engine off, it's not anti-clockwise. It's clockwise again.
I know, that's
Yeah.
right. The rear seats, like a Porsche 911, kind of not usable. For kids, you could use them, right? But my favorite part is that they're beautiful.
They
I
really
think
do look good.
They absolutely crushed that.
Yeah.
There's a stitching that goes all the way around. It reminds me of the S-Class.
Even the
right?
Isofix stuff on top
Yeah.
looks like jet turbine engine.
It's cool.
things.
It's chrome, and it's really well done. There are some very, very good points of this interior.
However, what about that?
What about what? Oh yeah, that's right. This is like a bathtub. Like this is so high. I don't know if you can see. You can barely see any of our faces because the shoulder. You okay?
I did a poo.
Because the shoulder height is so high that makes this part a blind spot. Like you can't see the curve down there. It's fine on this side, but the frameless rearview mirrors help. Maybe they were a necessity because this is so high. Anyway, I think for the most part, this interior suits the price.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It doesn't go beyond the price.
No, it does not, but it just makes it.
No, but it competes with some serious things, right?
Hit Porsche 911 Turbo.
And that brings us on to our conclusion.
Sometimes when we review a car, it's obvious where it fits, why it costs what it does, and for our versus videos, which one we'd rather take. But the Polestar 1 felt like we just walked out of the movie Inception. We knew it was good, and we couldn't stop talking about it, but we weren't entirely sure what just happened.
Why is it still spinning?
It's a car with a strange identity. A 911 Turbo is faster, and a Porsche. And there's also, for the EV-only crowd, the Taycan. And if you just want a pretty coupe, there's the F-Type. But the Polestar 1 makes no attempt to fit the narrative. They aren't going to make another version of it, nor will they update it like their upcoming Tesla fighter, the Polestar 2. It's Polestar's attempt to show the world what they can do, and then some.
And it seems to have worked because every first year allocation is spoken for, and they're only making $500 a year for 3 years. So would we buy it? Well, knowing Thomas, if he had 200 grand to spend, he'd just buy 100 cars that cost $2,000 each and don't work. So we're not really the buyer. All we know is that its unbelievable ride, incredible handling, and aesthetic X factor meant that it felt pretty special. Even if a New York cop asked us to do a pull and on hearing the engine, laughed at us and then shouted,
Yo, is that a freaking smart car?
only he didn't say frickin'. And yes, that did happen.
Okay, so picture this. You want to do something charitable and win a 6-figure priced performance car that makes 536 horsepower and 550 pound-feet of torque at the same time. Well, thanks to our partnership with Omaze, you can.
Because the Karma Revero GT, like the Polestar 1, is a hybrid electric. And if you donate, your money goes to Conservation International, a non-profit dedicated to preserving this Earth. So for $10, you can win a car and help save the world.
And that sounds like a pretty good deal to us. So go to omaze.com/throttle for your chance to win. Thanks for watching.